Hello everyone, and welcome to the Services Management Project on Ace Hotels, specifically the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania location by Randall Oaks. This project will outline the history and location, brand identity prism, semiotic square, reviews and observations, the ServCool model, gap analysis, and service failure recommendations. The first Ace Hotel opened in 1999. Friends Alex Calderwood, Wade Weigel, and Doug Herrick purchased and transformed a Seattle halfway house into an affordable hotel that would appeal to a creative class. 2006, Ace Hotel welcomed new partners Jack Barron and Michael Bissondi. That same year, a second hotel in Portland opened. 2011, the company branched out and collaborated with a cosmetic company to create nail polish that would be sold in the hotel's minibars. 2013 welcomed locations in London, Panama, and LA. 2015 welcomed our location that we will be talking about in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 2016 and 17, the most recent locations in New Orleans and Chicago, respectively. Each location converts older architectural buildings or landmarks and creates them into their hipster, industry chic, and trendy hotels. As mentioned, I will specifically be concentrating on the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania location. This location is located in the East Liberty area of Pittsburgh. Its hotel is just minutes from the Carnegie Museums, Phipps Conservatory, and sits itself strategically near three universities, Carnegie Mellon, Chatham, and the University of Pittsburgh. The site is a former YMCA and men's shelter. Spaces such as an old gymnasium that is the hotel's central gathering space. It can be used for weddings, conferences, or as they like to say, a bout of casual company-wide cornhole. The hotel features a tavern, lobby bar, and coffee bar. The hotel strives to keep things local, from the coffees that it brews to the locally farm-driven and sourced food on the menus, and the PA libations found in your own room's minibar, to the comforters that they put on the bed made in the suburbs of Pittsburgh. The hotel is bright, industrial chic, and minimalist. It's a hipster millennial's dream. Looking at the company's brand prism, their physique is industrial chic, minimalist, and authentic. The relationships are comfortable, communal, community-oriented with the activities and events that they plan for their guests. They're attentive. The reflection, hipster, millennial, artist, and creative class. Their brand personality, after their own Alex Calderwood, they're stylish, unique, and creative. The culture's trendy, locally sourced, but a little quirky. Their self-concept, individuality, modern, and hip. Here we have the semiotic square. On the far left, we have the professional, their weekday client. And on the far right, their nightlife, event, or weekend clients. You have the corporate businessman to the socialite, artists to a family or company or couple. They're intentional travelers, or their favorite clients, and the most typically generated hipsters, millennials. In working on the project, I reviewed the online reviews from Google, Yelp, and TripAdvisor. These reviews helped me to analyze what guests found the hotel was doing accurately or correct, or what the service failures in our next slide, the service would be. The tangibles, it was too minimalist. The consistency of the rooms, the design, the style, the layout, how they describe the rooms, were small, medium, or large, or a suite, to the generation gap. guests not feeling welcomed, feeling that they weren't hipster enough because of the trendy decor and staff attire. The reliability, as mentioned, the gymnasium that doubles as the hotel's central gathering space, so they can hold events there, conferences. It really creates a loud, echoing atmosphere that guests have a hard time relaxing or finding quiet in their rooms to all hours of the night. And finally, the assurance, the staff knowledge. A lot of guests noted that they didn't feel that the employees were of the hospitality industry, that they understood customer service procedures. They were more hipster or trendy, so that helped also further the generation gap of not feeling comfortable because the staff wasn't knowledgeable or wasn't able to provide them with the services that they felt are accustomed to in hotels. So here we find our gap analysis between the expectations of guests and the service delivery. And that first gap failure is the consistency of the rooms, the amenities that they provide, and the design and layout of them. Our second gap two, between service delivery and the perceptions. Guests walked away, feeling that they were unwelcomed because of that generation gap, that they weren't hipster enough or not trendy enough. And the communication between the staff and guests, that they weren't able to close even that generation gap, and feel and that the guests felt welcomed. So I have the service failure solutions, specifically for those two gaps that I honed in on, that the hotel can really improve on, and some solutions that they could use. For the consistency of design, the layout and amenities, um, clearly advertise the room size, the square footage, make a comparison. Not a lot of everyone has a different idea as to what small, medium, and large is, and so just to list that on your website, define the square footage, make a comparison. Is it a double bed, a single bed that would be found in there? Is it, you don't want to make a comparison to another hotel, but even if you kind of think of it as a home, is it kind of a guest room, a master bedroom? It gives people a little bit more idea as to the size that they're getting. Placing the furniture in the same layout, because it is a converted building. The rooms don't have maybe typically the same layout when you walk in the door, but trying to put every bed under the window or to the right of the room, the dresser on the left of the bed, that creates some consistency that the guests will appreciate and recognize. And finally, to help with that consistency, everyone loves locally sourced products, and of course, I love to promote our Pittsburgh ones, but provide a few national brands for guests. That helps them to observe the quality and to know that there's reliability in that product. And that would help in the consistency between even national brand hotels, that they know that you're still providing that same amenity. And finally, our second service failure, the solution, to help close the generation gap and the educate the staff knowledge and service. Provide some accommodations. We keep going back to the generations between millennials and, so maybe it's the baby boomers that don't feel welcomed at the hotel because they're not hipster enough or trendy. So provide some accommodations that they would appreciate. Maybe it's the music that's being played in the common spaces, or the board games that are in the gymnasium for guests to occupy their time, and they'll appreciate that. Providing some amenities or design features that are more comfortable and not so cold or trendy. That helps close the generation gap too. Not everyone's to sleep on an iron bed. So maybe, adding a little bit more woodwork in there, or name brand mattresses that the generations would recognize. It makes it a little bit warmer and not so cold and stark. And finally, provide extensive service training for all of your staff to be knowledgeable on hospitality procedures and customer relations, so that when a guest comes in and is feeling that generation gap or not feeling welcomed, the staff knows how to show empathy and to uh, provide that guest with accommodations that they'll feel comfortable with, even if it's suggesting restaurants or tourist locations such as the museums that guest is specifically interested in, and that would help them feel more welcomed. And so this is my project, services project on the Ace Hotels in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I thank you for listening and hope you enjoyed.